Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Guys, welcome back to the show that understands the facts. Divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and today we're going to dive into some victimhood, specifically weaponized victimhood. We're going to break down what the definition of a victim is, what the definition of victimhood means, what it could mean, the perceptions of it, and what it does mean as we go out into the world and we see it be put into action. Now, before we go any further, if you want to help me out, guys, sweet please. Yeah, we'll go sweet please. Fuck it. We'll go sweet please today. You can follow me on Instagram at Savagely Loud. That is where I'm most active, at Savagely Loud Instagram page. On that page, you'll find a link to the Savagely Loud podcast page on Instagram, which will inevitably be my backup page when they shut me down on the other one. You can also find me on Facebook. You can find me on X, all under the same name, Savagely Loud, Rumble, and YouTube, Savagely Loud Podcast. On both of those, please do go find me there, guys. If you want to email me in, if you want to you got questions, concerns, comments, you want to light me up, you want to be on the show, anything like that, you can email me in, savagelyloud@gmail.com. That will eventually become something at savagelyloud.com, but for now, it's savagelyloud@gmail.com. And while you're perusing the sites, guys, do me a solid. While you're moseying through all the sites that you find on my link tree and my bio on Instagram, wink, wink, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And please, guys, if you could, do me a solid again and rate the show on Spotify or iTunes, wherever you listen to it. It would mean the world to me to help get this thing a little bit bigger than it is so we can get this message out a little further than we are. Let's get into some updates, or how about that? The website. So the website's been wireframed by a very, very talented woman I happen to know. It's my wife. And it's looking pretty damn good. I'm going to look at it further, and then, when I get a minute, and we're going to continue on that. But it's a long process. We've got through the research. We got through all that kind of shit. Now she's on to actual design, which is pretty fucking exciting. We're figuring out what all is going to be on the page. I don't want to overload you or inundate you with a bunch of crap. I just want it to be, simple, usable. And if you want to get more than what's on the page, I want to give you a link to go find more. I don't want it to just choke you out right out of the gate with it. From there, you'll notice I didn't say TikTok in my list of media sites because I know you're going to find this shocking, but I've been banned from TikTok now. Yeah, I logged on. I've been under account ban warning for months and months now. I've gotten several community violations. I protest every one of them, and it seemed to have worked. Until the last one I got, they really don't like my content over there. I understand the communist Chinese regime piece of shit that owns it. They're totally cool with silencing all of their people, not letting them talk about anything. And then if they let them talk, it's just letting them say enough to get themselves in trouble so that they can put them in a prison and not deal with them anymore. Of course, that's all alleged. But they do not like what I have to say about culture and society, apparently. So you will not find me on TikTok because the honest to God's truth is I don't like the fucking platform anyway. I never have. I was never going to. It worked for a minute until it didn't work, and then it was more of a pain in the ass to deal with anyway. Plus, I've noticed on TikTok, more than anywhere else, just a repetition of the same fucking shit. Like, people on TikTok, it's like everybody got a memo. Like, everybody gets a memo on Monday morning about what the video of the week's gonna be, and then everybody on fucking TikTok does that same video. I woke up in a new Bugatti, and some of them are funny, like the cripples. The guy, I think he's a veteran, and he got his lower legs blown off, but he pulled the legs off of one of his amputee buddies funny. I mean, that was funny shit. Like, I get that. If you can do something funny, something new, something unique, of course, with this, overall standardized fucking memo template of a video, absolutely do that. But that's all I see on TikTok. So I'm really not worried about starting another page over there because, I mean, like, from what I understand, it's getting bought. It's gotten bought or something, and then the new company takes over. I think it's going to be called M, and which is really weird because the original fucking site, the original name of the place was Musically, and like my daughter was on it when she was a little kid, and then it became it went away and then became TikTok, and now it's going to become M or something. That's what I heard. Do your own fucking research. Look it up, but that's what I heard. And it's going to happen sometime summer next year, is what I understand. Is an American company's got to buy it out or has bought it out, and they're replatforming everything. Guys, my social media numbers. Thank you. I owe you a debt of gratitude for the amount of sharing that you guys are doing, the amount of commenting, the amount of messages, the amount of just overall support that I'm getting here on social media is fucking astounding. So let me run through this real quick because I want you guys to know how much you've helped me, okay? January 10th is when I switched my content. So up until January 10th, I did personal development content. That's all I did. It never hit, never bit. I got a lot of fucking commendations on how I did things and whatever, but it just never bit because first and foremost, the algorithm doesn't want people associating with other people that want to get better because you're going to get better. And that's bad for that's bad for business. That's bad for control. But it just didn't hit, so I decided to go back to what I know really needs to be said, and it's the shit that I've said it my whole life in much different ways, and I came from a definite different emotional place when I used to say some of this shit. A lot of it's been modified, a lot of it's been altered with a new, evolved perspective, but I just started talking about what I feel like the world needs somebody to say out loud, because we watch all the trends, we watch all the waves of talking points and discussion topics. It's this group, then it's that government, then it's that group, then it's that government, then it's that group, then it's that government, and as I look out, I always see these groups of people getting missed. And there are protected classes in this world, and I think we need to shatter that wall of protection on all cultures, all people, all societies. Talk about everybody. Talk about the perceptions of the realities that people live in. Talk about the lives people live, the places they come from mentally and emotionally and physically, where, morally, when they're making some of these decisions on how to live their life and how to tell other people to live. We're talking about gender. We're talking about all this shit. Because it needs to be said. And you know what? I don't see any of our favorite influencers saying it. I see them going so far and saying so much, but they never get into the weeds about anything that they think that they might get some pushback on. And as soon as they do, we see it time and time again. As soon as we see one of our favorite influencers, the big guys, they step out of line and they say something a little too far over the line, and then all of a sudden their business is getting fucking hit, or whatever, all of a sudden they're pulling back. It was important enough to say in the moment, but once it affected these people, then it's not quite as important to say anymore. And then they'll come at you with the guise of like, I got a business to protect, I got people to protect, I got employees to protect, I got policies and shareholders and all this other stuff to protect. But the only reason that doesn't work for me is because these people have built their whole fucking platforms on free speech, their whole platforms on saying what isn't said, talking about what isn't talked about, discussing what is not discussed and not supposed to be discussed. You build your whole fucking platform on this. The world pushes you and you get out of line, and then you tone it down. And that's just not what we're going to do. We're going to fucking talk about all this shit. And it's showing how much you guys, without rambling again, it's showing how much you guys really, really appreciate it, because come January 10th, I had 1,900 followers on Instagram, and I just today hit 15.2 thousand. I didn't have a Facebook page, not under Savagely Loud. I had it on my personal page, and everybody that's on my personal page is people I went to school with. So 99% of them don't give a fuck, and I don't give a fuck about them. So it's one of those kind of scenarios or situations. But I started a Savagely Loud Facebook page on January 10th. And it just hit today 24,000. So guys, fucking thank you, man. Don't worry about X. I can't find any traction on X. So I'm like hovering right around in the 60s or 70s on X. But, and Rumble, I'm all the way up to 6 followers. Like, Rumble sucks. I post there now and then, because I guess I'm supposed to, according to a lot of my friends that are in the know, I'm supposed to have some sort of footprint there. So I do that, but definitely most of my traction, or if not, 99.9% of it is coming from Instagram and Facebook. And again, I just hit 15.2 thousand on Instagram and 24,000 on Facebook. And that's, guys, that's thanks to you, because you guys have been sharing the shit. You guys have been commenting the shit. You guys have been talking to people about my shit. Now, I assume it's not all positive, but I don't give a shit, because you know what? Negative news sells the best. So based on what I just said there, let's get into some victimhood, some weaponized victimhood, because it seems to me nowadays that our entire fucking culture is built on either being a victim or weaponizing victimhood itself. We've come to a point now where I'm having a really hard time stomaching the way people look at this whole notion of being a victim. So before we go any further into this topic, let's do the definition of what makes a victim, okay? So, according to the dictionary on fucking Google, who knows who runs this fucking thing, but according to the dictionary on Google, victim, a person harmed, injured, or killed as a result of a crime, accident, or other event or action. Now, that definition to me, you might think is pretty clear cut. But according to society and all of the fucking weaklings that slither their sorry asses around society, that's not so clear cut. That is very, very open to interpretation. And if I was going to interpret that, the first thing that would jump out at me is the word harmed, okay? Harmed. Well, what do we hear now? Words are violence. So technically, if you said something that somebody doesn't like, they have now been harmed. They have now become a victim. If you injured, same shit. I mean, what does injured mean? That doesn't necessarily specify a physical injury. It could be any sort of injury, an emotional injury, a psychological injury. It could be anything. And people nowadays, they take these open to interpretation shit, and they absolutely fucking run with it. And that leads to the definition of victimhood, okay? Victimhood is simply, again, according to Google, simply the state of being a victim. Well, what could you possibly do with something described as the state of being a victim? Well, you could wallow in it, you could live in it, and you could use it to sell stuff. You could use it to sell yourself. You could use it to buy stuff. You can turn this into a currency, this victimhood bullshit. And that's exactly what I think people have done. We've turned victimhood into a currency now, and everybody's judged. I think we're coming out of it. To preface, I think we are on our way out of that, but for the last, 20 years, the bigger the victim you could be, the more popular you got. The bigger the victim you could be, the more attention you got. It's like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and the people that are fucking okay with being victims are like, they're so squeaky and they need so much fucking grease. But let's, I talk a lot about grace and nuance. So let's just see if we can maybe apply some grace and some nuance here to this topic, okay? When it comes to victimhood, it's very, very easy to find yourself in a state of mind of wanting it. And I know that sounds fucked up, but it is very easy to find yourself in a state of mind of wanting the victimhood, because when we're victims, typically we get the most passionate response. Typically when we're victims, we get the most warm welcome, the most warm emotions and the most welcoming feelings from other people. And that's things that we all crave as human beings. People will tell you all fucking day long they don't give a fuck about what people think. They do. They don't give a fuck about other people loving them. They do. Like, it's just human nature. And when you can get down to the primal core of nurturing, which is where that other person, the other part of the equation of victimhood comes in, when they're reacting to you with that state of nurturing, we crave that as people, because we think back to when we were kids and, our moms or our grandmas or our sisters or our aunts or whoever it might have been were there to nurture us. And we remember how good it felt to feel like we were just the most important thing on the face of the fucking earth for that moment. And because it's so easy, it's so very easy to want that, it's very easy to weaponize it against us, okay? It's so easy to not only weaponize it against ourselves, but it's easy to weaponize it against other people. And again, that's a lot of what we see now. We see people fighting constantly about who's a bigger victim. This is a lot of what my fucking social culture content is about, is how many fucking people need to act like a fucking victim. We were never here in America. We were just never the people. The kind of people, the breed of people, the creed of people. We were just never the fucking people that graded ourselves an A++ because we got victimized. When we got victimized, we got through it, we let it go, and we got back to fucking work. And then we started accomplishing real shit so that we could give ourselves a positive perception of ourselves based on realistic facts of shit that we've done. But somewhere, somehow, some way, this fucking thing shifted around, switched foot, and now it's everybody that is the biggest victim is the biggest winner. This isn't how it should be. This isn't how it was. And I truly, honestly believe we're coming out of the time of where it's so warmed and so warmly welcomed, and we're coming into a time of accomplishment again. We're coming into a time of merit, and all of the people that have built their fucking status on being a victim are about to be really, really fucking hurting. So, to those people, or for those people, we have to think about this. How many millions of people do we have on the internet right now that have built their following on being a victim? Millions? Tens of millions? Potentially hundreds of millions of people on social media accounts that have built a very large following out of being a victim. What happens to those people when this all goes south? This whole victim worship, the victim mentality, when that all goes south and gets turned off, what's going to happen to these people? They're going to fall on their fucking face, and they don't have any fucking skills because they've spent the last 10 or 20 years building the skill of selling victimhood, selling themselves as the biggest loser to become the biggest fucking winner. So when all of this shit falls apart, they're going to have nothing. And we're going to have tens of millions of motherfuckers back on the fucking government tit, because we're going to, what are we going to do? We're just going to what they're going to flood the streets? No, we don't want them on the fucking streets. And we really don't. We do want their attitude to shift. We want their perspective to shift. We want their abilities to shift into a positive direction, but we don't want them on the fucking street. And plus, if they're on the street, all they're doing is fucking up our communities. They fuck up our property values. They fuck up the cleanliness of our neighborhoods. They fuck up homeless motherfuckers just make everything unsightly. It would be one thing if these motherfuckers could put up their tarps and shit and at least keep the trash to a fucking minimum. But these motherfuckers can't do that. They find the raggediest, shittiest looking fucking crap to live in, and then they fucking surround it with garbage. Like there's nothing good gonna come out of this. So what we need to do is we need to warm you motherfuckers up, the ones that built your following on being a victim. We need to start warming you guys up to the notion that it's over. We need to start warming you guys up to the notion that everything you've been fed and everything you've been taught and told and indoctrinated into believing that made you want to form a life around being a victim, we have to make you understand where it came from, why it happened, and what we're going to do about it when it's over, because it's fucking approaching over. But you guys got to think, when it comes to victimhood, when it comes to weaponizing victimhood, there's so many fucking ways that it happens every single day that it can be overwhelming to think about them all, because it's not something you really think. If I say you're weaponizing victimhood, you may think, or you probably would think, that weaponizing victimhood means that if you start talking shit to me, right? You start talking shit to me, I'll use something bad that happened in my life to counteract that, or to alleviate the responsibility from myself, and if not, maybe even put the blame back onto you, because how dare you approach me? I've been victimized by this. You might think that's the only thing it means, and that's the only way it works, but it works in so many ways. In fact, every aspect of our lives, and especially in this country, but not only in this country, in this world, but especially in this country, every aspect of our lives is built on weaponizing victimhood. We're talking even businesses. Do you realize that such a surface level statement as I'm about to make can have an incredible impact on your subconscious? If I'm a shop and I want you to come to my shop, I might say, hey, come to Cliff's Garage where we got all the greatest deals and we got all the greatest technicians and all the most modern tools. Don't let yourself be taken advantage of at another place. Come to Cliff's Garage. That one statement, don't let yourself be taken advantage of. You might think that's just a surface level fucking scratch the top fucking statement, but what that did was that dove into your subconscious and started conjuring up every memory you had of getting fucked at a shop, or getting potentially fucked at a shop, or getting perceptually fucked at a shop. Any bad reaction that you've ever felt while at a shop, that statement just incited. And what it did is it made you just a little bit have a hope that you could trust Cliff's shop, because he said it out loud. He said he's not going to take advantage of me. He said he's going to take care of me. He said all this list of great shit, when all he really said was, don't let yourself be taken advantage of by somebody else. That's all I said. But that one statement goes all the way to your fucking primal core. And that's how interwoven this whole idea of weaponizing victimhood is in our society. Businesses do nothing but use weaponizing your own victimhood against you. Look at clothing manufacturers, to which I am one. I don't use that shit. I mean, I just try to put out a good product, but it's not my main shit. I build cars, so this t-shirt shit is side job fucking fun, But clothing manufacturers, they weaponize victimhood all the time to sell their shit, They know women. It doesn't matter who you are. It does not matter who the fuck you are. If you are a woman, you are super, super, super insecure about some part or parts of your body, or your emotional structure, your psychological structure, something about you is always just never going to be good enough. You know what I mean? And they weaponize that against you. You can be good enough. Just buy our shit. Look pretty when you've never felt pretty before. Buy our shit. This is all weaponizing victimhood. And the saddest part of it is that we can't realize it, because we have this veil pulled over our eyes at all times, that is telling us that we're supposed to be victims. We're supposed to be downtrodden. We're supposed to be used and abused and let that fuck our life up forever. If it happens when you're a kid, it's supposed to fuck you up forever. And the reason that it's supposed to fuck you up forever is because that's part of the plan. It's part of the system. The whole system works its best when it wins, and the system wins when you take part. When you take part fully in the system wins. And the only way it can get you to take part fully in it is to make you feel like you're not worthy of rising above it. It makes you feel like it understands you. It makes you feel like it's your friend when you got nobody left. It makes you feel like somebody's always there for you, guys. And that's the magic of it, is it works without you even fucking seeing it. Oh, you know what I mean? It's like, hold on one second. Yeah. Yeah. And it's fucked up how easy it is to get into this weaponizing victimhood. You know, I mean, how many people do you know in your personal life that are, you know, they got nothing good to say ever, like nothing ever good to say. Hey, how's it going? Well, you know, it could be better. I was really busy, and, you know, so-and-so had something negative to say about me. And, you know, I just really don't think my mom is listening to me when I tell, like, dude, I personally know people, okay? I personally know people. The very first, and I'm thinking of one right out of the gate. Every time how you doing? The first thing out of this person's mouth is, oh, I've been so busy. Oh my God, I'm all over here and I'm there and I'm there and I'm everywhere. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then you find out it's really not like that at all. But, you know, according to her, that's her reality. So, you know, that's what she's got to live with, and that's how she's going to act. So people let it get a hold of them in ways that for some reason they won't allow accomplishment to get a hold of them in. People allow victimhood to wrap around every part of their soul, but they won't let beating that part that made them the victim let them go. Like they won't allow that part to take any hold at all. And it's all because this system has been designed fully to keep us in a submissive fucking culture. That's how you do it, is you make a victim out of everybody, and then you make them wallow in it by rewarding them for doing it, some more than others. Some of them you get to plug into the algorithm and show the whole world that, hey, this 5'5", fucking 10.5 on the fucking hot scale, blonde, whatever, she's a victim. That means you can be too. Feel bad. It's okay to feel bad. Feel all your feelings. Experience everything, but never stop. Dive in and never dive out. Like, that's the whole fucking thing. And what does that lead to? That leads to easier control, easier separation. That leads to an easier takeover of power, because that's really what every system we live in modern age, that's what every single system that we live under is meant to do. Every single fucking system and plan is meant to divide the people, not only from other people, but divide us from ourselves, divide us from our history, divide us from our heritage, divide us from who we really the fuck are inside, so that somebody else can come in and tell us, so that somebody can come in and say, hey, look, I know you're not feeling good, and I've been there myself, but I've got this plan that's going to help you, and it's going to help me. Guys, if we can just plug you in, and you can just do this and do that, you know, it'll give you a sense of purpose. Yeah, that's how the indentured servitude works. That's how slave labor works. That's how, you know, like, I mean, really, we're in a fucking culture of slavery anyway, because we're tax slaves. We're paying the bills of everybody that we don't ever get to see, don't ever get to talk to, don't ever get to fucking hold accountable for anything. Like, it's pretty fucking insane how well every system that we've got, how well it works to fuck us up. The saddest thing about that is we know it happens, and yet we won't wake the fuck up. So many fucking thousands and thousands, millions and millions and millions of people every single day know the systems. They know the plan, and they take part anyway. You know why? Because it's easier today. I'll stand for something tomorrow. It's easier today to just go with the flow. It's fine. Well, let's talk about all the people that just went with the flow because it was easier and they all got that fucking vaccination. Wow, have you read some of the medical reports on that shit? Woo! Sudden adult death syndrome up 71%. Oh my God, allegedly, of course. Like it's insanity. But it was easier in the moment. And now we're dealing with that because those people are victims. Before we go head to tail over fucking COVID people, those people are victims too. You know, we have a reasonable expectation of being able to trust the people that say we have to trust them and say they're scientists and they say they're the professionals and they've got all the schooling and all the information, all the tests, they've got it all. We do have a reasonable expectation to be able to trust them. However, above a reasonable expectation to trust somebody else lies the responsibility of doing your own due diligence, doing your own research. And no matter what fucking opinion you decided to get married to, allowing that opinion to change upon the arrival of new information. We owe that to ourselves. That is a responsibility that we have above and beyond this whole notion that we should be able to trust those who tell us we're supposed to trust them. We've got the responsibility to us, ourselves, and our people to fucking do the research, and people still refuse. And then what happens? Then they get married to it. Like I said, they get married to an idea, and no matter who tells them it's wrong, it's always going to be right. Look at the maskers, okay? There's people still wearing fucking paper masks. You see them. There's people still wearing fucking paper masks, and literally every single fucking person, doctor, scientist, or conglomerate of energy of corporations that said they do stuff, every single last one of them, including Fauci, came out and said they do nothing. They released the recordings of before the release statement of the masks of Fauci saying, yeah, they don't do a fucking thing. And well, 6 feet came out of nowhere. We just made that shit up. They released the recordings of all this, and there's still people wearing the fucking masks. Those are the fucking people that I believe are unsavable. Those are the people that get so married to an idea just because it's theirs that they will take down everybody on the ship before they change course. They will fucking murder every single last person before they admit they were fucking wrong. That is a problem for all of humanity, is people that cannot fucking change course upon the arrival of new information. If you have an idea in your head, which we all do, we've all got some fucking opinions that might not be so savory, but if you've got those opinions in your head and somebody hits you with new information, then you've got to be able to pivot and make a new fucking, make up a new course of action, a new perception, a new something, a new state of being, a new mentality regarding the subject. You've got to be able to pivot. But we are seeing people that can't do that. And those are the people that are victimized wholeheartedly and first when it comes to governments and politicians and businesses and NGOs and charities and all this other shit. When it comes to weaponizing victimhood, those are the people they go after because those are the people that they understand will marry the idea and carry it to other fucking people. Because those are the people that are weak at mind. Their minds are weak, and maybe they're not weak-minded as a whole. Maybe they're just in a situation in their life that's got them down and vulnerable and susceptible to outside influence. Maybe they're just that. But the fact is that in that moment, they're vulnerable and they are susceptible to outside marketing influence. So why anything you market them, if it sticks, it's stuck. Like it's stuck there for good. There is no changing this ever because these people are now fucking married to this shit and they are going to turn into one of your closest fucking warriors to spread whatever the fuck you're trying to get them to spread is. So when these people are seen And we see them all the time. They usually have blue fucking hair, rainbow colored hair. They've got fucking piercings in their fucking nose and their eyebrows and their labres. And now, mind you, I had my eyebrow and my labre done when I was fucking younger. But you know what? I became a fucking adult and I took them out of my face. But we see a lot of people that haven't. And they're usually the ones that we see barking about, you know, civil rights, even though they have no idea what civil rights even means or where they even come from, or is it, you know, whether it's global or if it's just invented in the United States. Like, these are the people we see barking about this shit all the time. So they're susceptible. They throw the flag out there. Like, you ever seen fucking prison movies? They tell you got to throw up a flag so to find your clique, and then you run with them and nobody else. And I mean, well, unless you know somebody that's like been to real prison, they'll tell you the same fucking thing. But that's these people throwing up their flag and looking for their tribe. I'm going to fucking dye my hair blue and give myself 6 septum piercings and a bridge piercing and fucking snake bites on my lower lip. And then I'm going to fucking throw myself in front of a camera and see what comes back. It's essentially fishing for relationships if you really cut it down. But that's what these people do. Well, when they're doing that so effectively and so efficiently because the people that want to use them to sell their narrative are standing there with the cameras. This is how this happens. Like, nothing is on accident. Nothing just takes over because it was an accident. Nothing takes over unless it was marketed to take over or if it was funded to take over. You've never heard a hit song that just got hit by itself. Like, nobody in their fucking backyard was singing some fucking radical song, and then their neighbor fucking, called a producer, and it's never happened. They had a hit song, and if they didn't want to market it, it got stolen by a fucking other artist or a record company or got bought, and then they marketed it and blew it the fuck up, told you and me that we're supposed to like this a lot, and we did. That's the way it works. Well, it works with victimhood too. It works with, you can sell people like, why? No, let's have an exercise. Let's role play a little bit. I'm coming to you. Like, I notice you're down. What's going on, man? What's happening? Oh, it's pretty rough. Well, let me ask you this, buddy. Why do you care so much about getting so much stuff done? Like, I don't know if you noticed, but the world could end at any time. Do you really want to spend what could be your golden years, cooped up in a basement, making stupid podcasts or designing shirts or fucking trying to make something of yourself? Or do you want to don't you think you should maybe like live it up a little bit? We only get one life, and if the world's going to end, why not live it up? And then you say something like, you'd say like, well, yeah, but I gotta accomplish stuff to feel good about myself. And then I would say, yeah, but look at what you've accomplished already. Even if it's nothing, I'd say, look what you've accomplished already, man. Look at how far you've come in your life. Look at how much shit you had to conquer to get where you are. And because you have a fucking ego, you're going to fucking start thinking about all the biggest shit you've been through. And then you're going to quintuple it in size and make it a mountain that you fucking conquered, okay? That's the way it's going to work. And then I'm going to say, besides, dude, I don't want to sound like a nihilist because I understand you want to accomplish shit. It feels good, but dude, like who knows? Like, who's gonna know? Like, dude, you're only 2 generations of being away from being totally forgotten. Like, what are you gonna do? Start a company that as soon as you die, somebody else is gonna take over, turn into their little bank account, and then fuck it into the mountainside? Oh, come on, man. That sounds like it sounds like you could be spending your time having a lot more fun. You see how easy it is that I can sell you on your own victimhood? Like, and that was nothing, man. Like, if you were sitting in front of me, I could have you in fucking tears, never wanting to do a motherfucking thing with the rest of your life. I promise you. It's easy. And the people that want you to do it are always standing there with the camera. The people that want you to live that way, think that way, feel that way, operate that way every single day are always standing there with the support to get you to do it. It's if you're gaining a following for being a victim, another thing you have to understand is nobody's going to take you seriously later. Nobody's going to take you seriously. If you tell them to buy something, they're not going to buy something. If you tell them to go to another page, they're not going to go to another page. They're not going to do shit for you because there's no reason for them to do shit for you. They were only here for the victimhood. And if you switch that, if you become no longer a victim, or, you know, society no longer puts victims on pedestals, there's no reason for them to follow you. Your words have no weight. You never stood for anything. You never stood against anything. You just kind of went with the wishy-washy flow of things. And that's what they were there for. You know, the other thing is too, is like the people that want you to do this oftentimes are the politicians. Because if you look at all of our politicians, look at them all. When was the last time you saw a politician, yes, including fucking Trump, when was the last time you saw a politician that didn't try to weaponize your victimhood against you, or better yet, weaponize your nurturing instinct against their victimhood, right? You know the fucking drill. The fucking politician comes up and says, I'm from the worst neighborhood, and I went to the worst elementary school, and then I went to the worst high school. I had to walk uphill 19 and a half miles both ways, to and from, 16 times a day, 3,900 times a week. I had no family and no food. I had barely any shelter, and blah, blah. You should elect me. We see it all the fucking time. Why the fuck, you know what? And nobody fucking, and you know what? Here's the thing. Before I say the next thing, I understand why why they do this, why politicians do this. I understand why people do this, because people understand people have a nurturing instinct for a comeback story, right? Everybody likes a comeback story. That's what they tell you. Nobody likes a comeback story. Nobody gives a fuck about a comeback story. If anything, people hate comeback stories because mostly people hate comeback stories because you remind them, if you are that comeback story, that they haven't done a fucking thing. They fucking hate comeback stories because you remind them every single fucking time you tell it that they ain't done a fucking thing, and they could have. They understand that. So most people don't even fucking like the comeback story. But the comeback story sells. So you'll get the politician out there in front of the microphone whimpering and whining about how hard their fucking upbringing was, how they didn't have any moms or any dads or any uncles or any brothers or sisters. They didn't have any fucking this and that and the other thing. And then what happens? You vote for them. You know why you vote for them? Because you feel like they're a comeback story. You were told to vote for them because they're a comeback story. They were put in front of a camera in a fucking pantsuit or a regular suit, whatever, dress. They were put in front of a camera to tell you that they've been through more than you've been through, and that's why you should elect them, because they're now in a pantsuit in front of the camera. When in reality, what we need to be thinking about is this. Instead of electing a politician based on how bad of a victim that they could fucking possibly manifest the energy to fucking become, we should ask ourselves, why would we elect you for being a victim? If you're trying to get elected on the basis of being a victim, why would we ever believe you're going to be a strong leader? Like, it's the dumbest fucking premise on earth. Elect me because I'm fucking weak. I'll be your strongest leader. Oh, go fuck yourself. How about that? Yeah, that sounds fun, huh? God, it's unfucking real. It's unreal how badly we eat this shit up. It's unreal how badly they sell it and they market it to us. It's just unreal how we won't open our eyes. So I guess that's my whole point here is, guys, stop letting motherfuckers weaponize victimhood against you. Stop letting that motherfucker you went to high school with, that you're still friends with on Facebook, that whines every other fucking day about some fictitious bullshit they made in their head. Dude, stop letting them in. Stop letting them make you feel anything and accept the understanding of knowing what the fuck they are. They're nothing but a fucking piece of shit victim. They're doing nothing but playing you for their benefit, I don't give a fuck if it's that friend, if it's a teacher that you used to be friends with, if it's a cop, if it's a fucking fireman, if it's a dispatcher, if it's a fucking EMT trainer, if it's a politician, if it's a governor. It doesn't matter. No matter who the fuck it is. Don't ever let these victimhood mentality motherfuckers into your brain. Don't let them play you against yourself. Don't let them play you against other people. Don't let them fucking play you for their benefit. Don't let them do anything in your world. If you see somebody like this, you should be fucking turning and running as fast as you fucking can and go find somebody that is the antithesis of that, is the anti-victim, the person that's been through a fuck ton of shit that you never fucking hear about, and they just, because they keep fucking plugging, they just keep going on and doing more shit, trying more shit, becoming more shit. They just keep going without any focus on the rest of this shit. Guys, I know we've gotten into the weeds here. We talk about this stuff, so it's time for the Hopelessly Human segment to pick our attitudes back up. But before we get that, guys, you can follow me on Instagram, a Savagely Loud page. On Savagely Loud, you'll find a link to Savagely Loud podcast page, which will inevitably be my backup page when they cancel me. But that is where I am most active. You can also find me at Savagely Loud on Facebook and X. You can find me on Rumble and YouTube as well. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow and rate the shows on Spotify, on iTunes, please. You can also email me in savagelyloud@gmail.com. Now, without further ado, every single show, for those that are new, I like to end on a segment called Hopelessly Human, and it's just something to remind us that really fucking awesome humans still exist, and they're still out there, and it starts a little bit like...
People can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
Alrighty. Okay, we got a little bit longer Hopelessly Human for you because I got this story and it's fucking awesome. I couldn't stop reading it. And it fits right into this. It fits into this today's episode so fucking amazingly that I couldn't turn it down. Okay, so the headline reads, "Doctor urged raped woman to have an abortion, but she chose life." All right, so a 12-year-old named Liana Lay. I'm going to say that. I don't know if it's right, the right pronunciation, Lianna. 12-year-old girl named Liana Lay on the side of the road, barely clinging to life. I don't know why I can't read this first sentence. It's just so many. I don't know. Two men brutally raped the poor girl and left her for dead. Her face and neck were mutilated in the attack, the scars of which would remain for a lifetime. She thought for sure her life was over, that she never again would feel happiness or peace of any sort of a semblance of normality. Then Liana learned that she was pregnant as raped as a result. God damn, what the fuck is going on? There's things popping up here. What? I thought we were over the pop-ups. Like I thought we got rid of the pop-ups in like 2000s or maybe even the late 90s. Shit. So then Liana learned that she was pregnant as a result of the attack. Her doctor saw this as just another scar from the incident, but one that he suggested could easily be remedied with the simple procedure, an abortion. The doctor encouraged Liana to have the procedure, telling her it was the right thing to do so she wouldn't be haunted by a constant reminder of the attack. But even as a traumatized 12-year-old who had experienced some of the worst this world had to offer, Liana understood just how precious life is. She knew that ending this baby's life would not heal her scars or erase the horrific events she had endured. So this young girl asked her doctor one important question. Would an abortion ease her pain and help her forget about her rape? And her doctor said no. Liana knew that she would keep the baby, and so, instead, she heartily rejects abortion despite the doctor's suggestions. After the violent attack that left Liana so close to death, Liana battled post-traumatic stress disorder. The memories of the day were so bad that her mind... Dude, I can't read today. I'm so sorry, guys. The the memories of that day were so bad that her mind couldn't help but drift into thoughts of suicide from time to time. But what kept her from acting upon those suicidal impulses was the knowledge that she wouldn't be just killing herself, but that she would also be taking the life of her daughter growing inside of her. God knew just what this woman needed in order to be saved. In my situation, two lives were saved. I saved my daughter's life, but she saved mine. Leanna's reaction of wanting to keep her baby is not an uncommon among rape victims. The only major study of a pregnant rape victims ever done, Dr. Sanda McHorn found that 75 to 85% of them chose against abortion, citing reasons such as the belief that abortion would just be another act of violence against their own bodies and their children. The belief that the child's life had some intrinsic meaning or purpose which they did not yet understand. Research shows that women who have abortions after being impregnated through rape tend to experience feelings of guilt, depression, lowered self-esteem, and resentment towards men. Instead of abortion easing their psychological burdens, it adds to them. 94% of women who decided to keep their child conceived through rape said abortion would not be a good solution to a pregnancy resulting from rape, while 93% of women who did have abortions say that the abortion, quote, had not been a good solution to their problems, end quote, and that they would recommend others in their situation do the same, or not recommend others in their situation doing the same. In fact, many women who decide to keep their child after being raped say the baby was the only good thing to come out of the experience. Leanna would agree. Her daughter gave her life new meaning. She soon found each precious smile from her baby girl replacing her pain with something much stronger, love. And her daughter seemed to somehow be aware of her purpose as well. When Leanna's daughter was just 4 years old, she turned to her and said, "Mommy, thanks for giving me life." This tiny gift from God provided Leanna with all the healing she needed. When she said that, I realized that she was the one who gave me my life back. Leanna's daughter now is now 23, and the two have an incredible bond, one that is worth all the pain and suffering as far as Leanna is concerned. And her daughter was not only the positive thing to come out of this ordeal. Leanna now travels the world as a pro-life speaker. She's also started her own organization called Loving Life, whose mission is to promote the value of life, as well as help other victims of violence and abuse. Guys, this, I can't tell you for sure, but I can, because I'm a man, and I imagine it's never going to happen. But I can imagine that being raped is, if not the worst fucking thing a woman can experience, it would be real fucking close to it. And this woman went through this shit at the tender age of 12 years old as a child and had to process this throughout the course of her entire life thereafter. And she reached a state of being that was so transcendent of any sort of harm that this rape could have done that she went out, used that fuel, and went out and helped other people with it. And I think that's fucking amazing. That's also the end of the show. Later, guys.